Welcome to Brown's Rod and Custom, your home for street rods, muscle cars, and Volkswagen content. This is my dad, Big Ron. He's our body man and fabricator. This is my beautiful wife, Megan, our editor-in-chief and supporter. And this is me, Adam, the designer and mechanic for our projects. If you find our videos helpful, like and subscribe for more content.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Brown's Rod and Custom. Wanted to ask you guys if you could do me a favor. If you're watching these videos and checking out the channel and you like what you see, if you guys could hit the subscribe button for me, we would really appreciate that. We are working our way to trying to get monetized so that we can build bigger and better cars and more builds and so on and so forth and keep doing this. And that would help us a lot if you guys could do that for us. So that's really all I got for you. Really appreciate all of you. Stay tuned. We've got lots of cool builds coming. Lots of things starting to happen on a lot of different cars. So it won't just be the Thing. It's going to be the Thing, the 40 Ford, the Apache. There's going to be a lot of things happening. So just stay tuned, and I will try my best to get you as many videos as I can, including Don's 1957 Chevy two-door post that we're working on. There's a lot going on over there too. So stay tuned, guys. Thanks for everything. We really appreciate you. Have a great night.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Brown's Rod and Custom. It is Mopar Day. This is our, for those of you that don't know, and for those of you that do, we're going to recap the Chrysler here, and then we're going to get into getting this thing up in the air, and then tightening down all the brake lines, making sure, just double checking everything, and then we're going to start bleeding the brakes. And then from there, we're going to adjust the shift linkage and get that to where it goes into gear like butter. And at some point over the next 2 days, we will drop the steering column down and we will pull this dash out. And we will metal condition it, and we will prime it with the white U-pole. So that is what's coming over the next couple days, and I'm sure we're going to get sucked into a bunch of other things on this. But this is my car. This is my baby. I mean, quite frankly, I love Mopars. They are just badass. I like Fords and Chevys, but I love Mopars. There's something about them. I like the look and all the things. And there's Louis out there in his 35 Ford. 35, 36. I'm not sure. I'll find out. But anyway, that's what we're going to be doing on here. For those of you that don't know, this is a... See you, buddy! This is a 383 big block, mated to a Borg-Warner T10 4-speed manual. Okay, now that in itself makes this car really rare. Now this car originally was an automatic. It was a push-button 727 that we took out. Okay, now we found a guy in Ocala, and we didn't realize how rare or what rabbit hole we were going down when we did this. A guy in Ocala that rebuilds 4-speeds that had this Borg-Warner T10 fully rebuilt, and it is a pretty rare transmission from what we understand. Now, from everything I've been able to find and what I heard from the guys that pass on performance and whatnot, in 1963, okay, there were 3 Chrysler 300s, and I mean physical cars, 3, not models, but 3 cars that had a 4-speed in them. It's kind of something they were trying out, or something to that effect. I could be wrong on that, but that is, from everything I've found, it's not normally a thing. They had the 727 push-button auto up there on the left side of the steering wheel, okay, on the dash. So we get this transmission. Cool. It was like $1,200–1,300 bucks. We also picked up Dad's Saginaw that we just took out of the 40. Not a big deal. Loved it. Got it here. It looks amazing. When we get under there, you'll see it looks like brand new. But then we needed a bell housing, right? And so then it was like, okay, we should just be able to buy a bell housing for a 4-speed, you know, going on to a big block Chrysler. Yeah, no. So what we had to do was find the correct bell housing for a Borg-Warner T10 to bolt to an, I believe it's an RB or B, I don't know. whatever big block this is, okay? It's a 383, but there's two different versions of it. I think there's a B block and an RB block. I think this is an RB. But I, at the time, was watching Graveyard Cars, and I'm sure some of you have heard of that. And they were putting a 4-speed in a car, and they kept talking about pass-on performance that sells Mopar 4-speed guys, right? They sell everything, you know, for that. So I thought, let's give them a call. And again, not realizing how incredibly rare what I'm about to ask for actually is and what I'm looking for, because again, there's not a lot of these out there. Okay, I've seen one in a picture. You know, that's where we're at here. So anyway, I call those guys and they say, hey, I tell them what I have. They explain to me how rare it is, and then I start to kind of, you know, backpedal a little bit in my head, going, oh fuck, this is going to cost me a fortune. And but I've already got the transmission. We've already pulled the automatic. We've already, you know, we went down the rabbit hole, a point of no return. So he tells me that I need this special Borg Warner T10 63 bell housing to an RB or B or whatever big block this is. And I said, cool. I said, do you happen to have one? He goes, you know, I do. I got it about 25 years ago at a swap meet, and I stored it in my warehouse. It's just sitting in there. It's not something anybody's ever asked for until I called, apparently. So, which is incredible when you figure these are one of the leading 4-speed Mopar companies in the world. Nobody's even asking for this. That gives you an idea, right? So I said, okay, and I'm expecting them to say, I'm expecting to pay $200 or $300 when I called for a bell housing, somewhere in that world. I said, what do you want for it? And he goes, well, I don't want to sell it, but I don't want to sell it price is $650 for the bell housing. And I said, well, okay. Realizing at that point what I'm never going to find it, right? I bought it. And it showed up, and plus shipping, by the way, on the bell housing, steel bell housing. Yeah. So I had about $800 in the fucking bell housing, but we had about $1,300 in the transmission. We haven't even got to clutch, flywheel, pressure plate, shifter, hump, pedal assembly. Yeah, rabbit hole. So anyway, it gets here, bolts up, it's perfect, right? I painted Hemi orange to match the engine, and cool. Now I need a clutch, pressure plate, flywheel, all the things. Call them back a couple weeks later because I had to make more money just to fund this damn thing. And they say, no problem. That was a lot easier. If you're going to try to attempt this, so the flywheel, clutch, pressure plate, they're all bearing, all that is, from what I understand, the same as what's in an 833. So that's readily out there. So what I got was a McLeod Stage 1 clutch with a factory McLeod flywheel, factory style, and pressure plate and all that is all Stage 1. So that's what's in this. And that was great. Came, showed up, everything went in great. It works awesome. I mean, the pedal's great. We love it. No issues. Now, granted, we haven't really driven the car, but around the block a couple times because there are literally very minimal brakes. So then we had to figure out, and I'm going to tell you something. We got stupid lucky on two things that came next, and they happened at the exact same time. Somebody on eBay was selling the transmission hump that you see right here, okay, where the shifter's coming out, the correct one for a 63, 64 Chrysler 300 with a 4-speed. And I said, I'll take it. And I believe I paid about $100 for the hump, which is actually not bad. That's a decent price. And then I realized also from talking to Pass On Performance that the shifter, I couldn't just buy her shifter for a normal 833 4-speed. I had to buy one for a Borg Warner T10 that actually fits, and the bolt pattern on the tail is different where it bolts on. So there was a Hurst shifter with the hump on the same guy had it, So I bought that. So I had the correct hump, the correct shifter, the correct transmission, the correct bell housing, all of its date coded, period correct, all of it. I thought, cool. Then I'm trying to look for pictures of these things to figure out what shifter handle should actually be in this car. Because what you'll see as we go along here, there's a center console that comes through here, okay? And that does not come through the center console, it goes to the side of the center console. So do I need one that kicks over? Do I need, Mopars, they have different shifter handles that do weird things for different cars. So anyway, I found this to be somewhat close. I don't think it's exactly right, but I did find it at a show. The guy that sold me the transmission had it. He's at all our swap meets we go to, and I bought it, and I love it. So that's what's staying in it at the moment. I wanted to put a pistol grip in it, and I still might before it's all said and done, but that's what we ended up coming up with. And then we bought a refurbished pedal assembly out of a B body and made it fit, because you're never going to find a pedal assembly. I searched for 2 years, it doesn't exist. And if it does exist and you're out there and you have it, let me know. I'd love to get that from you. So that is how we got a 4-speed in this. And then we got just unbelievably lucky when we pulled on the drive shaft. Okay, the drive shaft, what do you want to call it, the slip yoke, I guess it would be, off the automatic slid into the 4-speed, and so therefore I just swapped those out, pulled the one out, put the automatic one in, and the drive shaft bolted right in, like factory. Like I didn't have to do anything to the drive shaft. So realistically, if this had come from the factory with the 4-speed, it would be very, very, very close, other than the pedal assembly, to what you would have got from the factory. It is what it is. It's not that we threw a hodgepodge of shit at it. This is, we took the time to get the right parts to put this together right, and a lot of that was done just because we kind of had to. Anyway, that's how this got a 4-speed transmission. All right, so that's what really makes this car pretty cool and rare. Now some of the other things that we did to this car, we'll start in the back. If you know anything about Chryslers, Chrysler 300s of a 63, 64, you will know that that emblem on the deck lid is for a 64, okay? On a 63, it's a 300, okay? This is not here. Fun story. I've been looking for 6 years, maybe longer, for any part for a 63 Chrysler 300 at every swap meet we go to. I look and scour, okay? Finding Mopar parts down here in Florida is not a easy thing to find, okay? You find a little here, a little there, not much. We were at the Sumter swap meet a year ago, and there was this trunk lid. And it's the same trunk, 63, 64 is the same trunk lid, okay? So I was looking at it and I thought, I wonder what he wants for that, because this was nicer than the one I had. Mine had a little bit of rust on it from where the Dutchman had rotted off on this. And he said $40. I said, yeah, I'll take it. But then you got to hike this monster across the fairgrounds. But we ended up doing it, and so that's how we got this trunk lid. So yes, I understand it's got a 64 Chrysler 300 emblem, but that's coming off. There is another deck lid in the shed that doesn't have that. Now, what we did do is across here, you guys that know these cars will know this, there was some stainless steel or aluminum trim, chrome trim that came across here, all the way around, okay? And then you also had, around the wheel wells, there was chrome strip, there was chrome across the bottom. All of that has been deleted, okay? We got rid of it. It made the car look too classic and not custom, if that makes sense. It was just too gaudy for our taste, and a lot of you guys might love it, and I totally respect that, but for us and for me at the time, I actually saw one that was being sold that had it deleted, and I said, that's sharp, I like that. So all of this will get painted black, instead of all that chrome and stainless trim. Now it will have the chrome bumper. It will have the chrome taillights with the red lenses. It will have the 300 on the deck lid. Okay, I have those. I removed the medallions that go here. Okay, it will have the chrome trim. We have that, the stainless or chrome, whatever it is, trim that goes around the back window. And all the chrome and stainless and everything that goes around the doors and the windows here, we're keeping. I'm keeping the door handles. I'm keeping the keys. Okay, the locks. It will not have the factory one gaudy looking mirror off the fender. We're putting California mirrors on it. Actually, the ones that are on the Volkswagen thing came off of this. So just kind of rob Peter to pay Paul. But the other thing that we did keep is the spear, the metal spear that goes back, chrome trim or stainless. I think it's stainless. That goes on down the side here. We have really good ones. We kept that. We're going to keep the front bumper and the chrome trim rings on the headlights. Okay. Now what we got rid of was, look at this. There was a chrome spear up the hood. Got rid of that. It said Chrysler across the hood. Okay, the letters. I got rid of that, deleted that. That's going to be smooth. Here, right here, all the way down this line to here, was a chrome or stainless trim piece that went all the way down, and then it went down the grill and around. Okay, that is gone. So when this car's actually together, it might be hard to recognize that it is a 63 Chrysler 300 to someone that doesn't know them, right? It's going to look a little different. It's going to look very streamlined, very custom, very hot rod. Okay. I have also done. I got a little something that I'm not going to really get into depth with, but on the front grille is a spear. Okay, it's like an airplane propeller looking thing with a Chrysler 300 emblem in it. I have something that I've done with that, which I have tested on here, and I don't want to give it away because I don't want anybody to copy it just yet. But it looks fucking sharp, and we're gonna do that on the front of this car. So that's where we're at, guys. So I'm gonna stop talking, and we're gonna start working, and we're gonna get this car up in the air before it starts raining, and we gotta pull everything back in. We're gonna get it in the air, get the wheels off of it, and start checking all of our brake lines, and we're going to bleed the brakes so we can actually get a pedal. I need it to stop. Oh, and on that, the rear end's been rebuilt. Brakes are all brand new in the rear drum. It's an 8 3/4 with a 323 gear. On the front, we have 11-inch rotors with 2-piston disc brake calipers. We do have, so these cars originally, and it's hard to believe, as big as this son of a bitch is, and it weighs a ton, okay? It is not the car you want to push, all right? It's almost like we pushed a Land Rover back in the day, which was, I mean, it took 10 guys and we didn't get it 6 inches. So anyway, we have the dual master cylinder with the power brake booster. This originally, being this is a sport coupe, had a single master cylinder non-power brake system, 4-wheel drum. Okay, I didn't want that. I saw in the forums where they were doing, there was not a kit, but you could kind of build your own kit. A guy sold the caliper brackets. If you put a certain year Eldorado, it's like 80-something Eldorado, Cadillac Eldorado calipers with, I think 89 Cordoba, 88 or 89 Cordoba rotors with the bracket kit from Scarebird, it fit, right? And so I did it. I bought it for myself for my birthday one year, and we put it on here. And so you know, we're not dealing with bad brake lines. Every brake line on this car is brand new. The underneath of this car is sharp. Mechanically, it's right. It just needs this. We just never got around to bleeding the brakes properly. So, and finding if we had any leaks or anything like that. So that's what we're doing today. So this car should come 1,000,000 miles today, and actually, realistically, once I put a steering box in it, should be able to drive around the neighborhood. So that's our plan. We're going to get to it. I'll bring you guys back in a minute.
Guys, I'm gonna tell you right now, I bet these are every bit of 40, 50 pounds a piece. They're universal lug 20s from our neighbor. Because when we got this, it had 5 spokes on it, but they were for a Chevy pattern with wheel spacers, with adapters, with washers and all kinds of shit. So we couldn't drive around the neighborhood because the wheels were hitting the suspension up front, the controller. So we had to put these on it just to get it around the neighborhood. So check this out. You're gonna see those disc brakes in a second.
Okay guys, wheels are off. I'm going to give you a quick little look at the disc brake kit that I put on here. So these are 2-piston front brake calipers off of a Cadillac Eldorado. I believe it's an 88, 89 Eldorado. And then the rotors, I mean this car hasn't really moved much in years, but the rotors are off of an 89 Cordoba. Chrysler Cordoba. I do have to fix this. I just realized he ran the brake line through the control arm, and I can't have that. I don't want to take any chance of snapping that and not have brakes. So we're going to fix that. But as you get in here, it's got new shocks on it. What we do need to do, and I'm going to get when we get back from vacation, is the upper ball joints control arm bushings, and so we're going to do control arm bushings, upper and lower ball joints. I'm going to do new tie rods, and probably steering arms and tie rods. It comes as a kit. And we're going to take the steering box and ship it out and have it rebuilt for a modern feel. So it should be way better. We won't have that that slop at speed. It should be a lot better. And then we do have the new brake lines, rubber and the metal brake lines all the way down and back. You can see the headers back there, the factory headers. You can't really put, I guess saying can't is probably a bad idea. I think it would be very difficult to put headers on this car. No one makes headers for this car. I think it would be one of those deals where either you're going to go with the factory HP manifolds, which may not fit just because of clearance issues on the steering box, or you know, where they give you the tubes and you kind of make it yourself with a set of headers kind of thing to clear. But this is where we're at. All the bearings, bushings, everything's all new on this. But we're not that far off. I do, when we get ready, I'll take all this undercoat off, and we'll do bed liner and clean all this up. But you can see up there where we welded in all the welds up there. That's where we did the that strip up here we deleted. So we're getting there, guys. It's a show you under here. So you've got dual exhaust with Flowmasters. The bottom has been painted with Port 15. Let me get you in here. It's just hard to get in here. There's the BorgWarner T10 with our custom transmission mount we made. And there's that bell housing I was telling you about with all the things. I do need a flywheel cover. You know, still things to do, but that's where we stopped. And I want to go ahead and try and get some of this suspension stuff when I get back. Kind of my plan is get it stopping this weekend, get the brakes good, get the shift linkage good to where it goes into gear right without any issues. And then what I want to do is the rear suspension's all perfect. It's dialed in. It's the front and the steering arms and all that. So I want to get up here and get all this cleaned up and get that steering box out and back. And then this thing should stop, start, steer, run, drive, and handle way better than factory, and especially with these. This is going to be huge for this. And then from there, it's bodywork and interior, which that's my bread and butter. So really excited to get there. So that's what we're doing here. And when I pull these control arms off and stuff, I'm going to clean them up and paint them and do the whole thing, and it'll look like $1 million under here. And we'll clean these rotors up. You know, they got a little surface rust on them, but nothing horrible. But I'm pretty happy with what I'm seeing. I mean, this car literally has sat outside next to the house under a car cover for at least 2 years, and you know, it gets messed with every once in a while. So yeah, if we can get it to do all those things, we are winning, boys. We do have the Edelbrock intake on there, 4-barrel. It's the Edelbrock RPM manifold, and then I got the 440 source Valley hold downs, the billet Valley hold downs. See it back there. And then it does have the electronic distributor with the blue box and MSD blaster coil, and it's got the Holley 670 Street Avenger on it, and which, you know, all of this stuff needs to get totally dialed in and cleaned up and all the things, but it's getting closer. New alternator, water pump, hoses, all of that's new. I think I put a new timing chain in it. We've got a new I cleaned up the exhaust manifolds and coated them with that Eastwood stuff back in the day. That was probably 6 years ago, but painted the block, got it all the shut off of it and painted it Hemi orange, and pretty cool car. That's I think might be the factory radiator. It works great. And we did upgrade the hood springs. One of them was just terrible, so I went ahead and got that. But here's the other side. Give you an idea. I know it's a little dark, but all the plug wires, plugs, all that are new. So we're gonna start tightening things down, checking everything, making sure we're good, and then we're gonna get to it here, guys, and I'll bring that to you. Thanks for watching Brown's Riding Custom. Hey guys, alright, so I just wanted to, while I'm getting ready, Ron's grabbing wrenches to bleed the brakes, wanted to show you what our issue was with the 4-speed, right? So I have first, I have second, third, fourth, but there are times where it will bind and you can't find neutral. So it's just a little adjustment. We have the gears, first, second, right there. It doesn't want to go in, there it is, third, fourth. So I just got to do a little tweaking on the linkage here, but otherwise, we're, look at our steering wheel slop. You guys see that? This is why we needed a steering box. What could go wrong? So anyway, that's what we're doing. We're gonna bleed the brakes here in a second, but yeah, I thought I'd show you that just so you guys had an understanding of why I'm talking about shifter linkage. We're not that far off. It's just a little adjustment. So I believe that might actually hit the. So, anyway, there you go, guys. We'll be back in a minute. Alright, guys, starting to bleed the brakes. You want me to pump? Yeah. You gotta tell me. Holding. Floor. That's the first time it's actually went down. Holding. Floor. Leg already is sore. Pump. You get anything out of that?
Yeah.
Air?
Not really. That doesn't make me wonder,
But you got fluid out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not a lot, but it's some,
Hey guys, welcome back. Alright, so we've been bleeding here for a little bit, for about 10 minutes. The backs are good. They were good from the get-go. Didn't get any air out. The front passenger side had some air. I think we got that out. Front driver's side had a smidge. I think we got most of that out too. I've got a good pedal. So we might be pretty close. We're going to check our fluid levels and kind of go from there. But I think at the moment, I think we're in the ballpark. So stay tuned, guys. Almost there on the brakes. Okay, guys. So here's what's where we're at. So when the vacuum line is not hooked up to the booster, we have a good pedal. Hook the vacuum line up, start the car, pedal goes to the floor. Now, there's that. I did take the check valve out, the one-way check. It tested out good. Now we do have a leak here on this nut here, this bolt. So we put some, what would it be, gas Teflon kind of thing on it, and put it back in. We're trying to tighten that up now, and then we'll hook our line back up and try again. But that's where we're at, guys. I just wanted to give you an idea where what we're doing here. Hang tight. Hey guys, alright, so I'm kind of getting ready to mess with something that I took apart like 6 years ago. So, but I bought the right stuff to put it back together. So, the steering column, right? There is, I'm pulling the steering wheel. Let me do that right now. Maybe. See if we can get that off here in a minute. But what I'm going to do is I have a new turn signal switch. I have I don't know what all that shit is, but I've got a new, some kind of rubber something here, and I've also got the new bearing for the steering column. So I want to dig into this and see if there's, you know, something I can do here. So I'll be right back. I'm gonna try to get the steering wheel off real quick. Okay guys, good evening. So we got her back down on all four paws. It's outside again. We're gonna start back on it tomorrow. Our issue is right here, right there, leaking. That's a issue, I should say. The other issue is when we hook the vacuum up to it, to the booster. So when the car is off and we bleed the brakes, I have great brakes. I have a good pedal. When I turn the car on and the vacuum engages, I have no pedal, like none. So that is the only leak we've been able to find so far after going over all over this car. So there's that. We think we have that fixed. We put a special sealant on it and remade the brake line and whatnot. So we're gonna let that dry overnight and see where that goes. Now I did get under here and took care of a bunch of oil leaks and tightened a bunch of stuff up, so we should be in a lot better place. I also polished out the paint on the dash, all of this you can see, because we painted this a while ago. When we had the motor out, we painted the firewall and everything. So anyway guys, we'll be back tomorrow with more.